What's up everyone? This video is going to be kind of an intro into the channel and a walk around and overview of this truck, my 93 Toyota pickup. So I would like this channel to kind of be informative. I've got some stuff that I want to do to this truck and I'll make videos on how to do it. There's going to be other trucks coming onto the channel, other vehicles that I'm getting parts for and time to work on. There are subjects like I've gotten pretty big into car audio recently. I really like diesel performance, perhaps some more gas stuff. Eventually I would like to autocross this thing, but that'll probably be quite a ways away before I get the time and parts to do that. But for right now, this video is going to be on this truck because it is as finished as it's going to be, because it's never really finished, right? So like I said, this is my 93 Toyota pickup. It still has the 22RE 5-speed manual, 2-wheel drive. It started life as a frame and cab that I picked up from Tennessee. I live here in the Midwest, so everything was rusted, so the Tennessee frame was a nice find. I sourced parts from other vehicles. I bought another truck off my father when that's what I got the motor and trans from, and it happened to be within a couple thousand miles of the frame, so that kind of was cool, I guess. But anyways, it took me about 2 years to put everything together. It's been about 3 years now. I've been daily driving it for about 1.5 years, coming up on 2 years now. But everything that you see done to this truck, I did myself. This truck has never been to a shop. I prefer doing everything myself. It's just the way I roll. So we'll start off with some of the exterior stuff. The paint is something that I mixed together myself. It started off as a Summit Racing Performance Red that I mixed some violet with from my local paint shop. And I now no longer have a paint code, so I can never do touch-ups on the truck, which kind of sucks. And when I painted it, I tried buffing it and polishing it, and I did an absolutely terrible job. So the paint is flat, there's no orange peel, but the finish on it is subpar, I would say. So some of the people who know these trucks well might notice right off the bat that if this is a 93, why does it have the little third brake light up on top there? So some of the parts on this truck do not match the year or the 2-wheel drive, that light being one of them. That's something I put on there. I was pretty particular when I put this truck together about the parts I used. I wanted it to flow really well in terms of color matching. I find that a lot of people overdo color matching or chrome, and it gets carried away. So I wanted this truck to be a cool mix of color matching, chrome, and just kind of, at the time when I was building it, I really had like a muscle truck look in mind. So some of the things like the wheels and the exhaust exit are kind of muscle car-ish like. But anyways, getting back to the third brake light, I did put that on there. This is a 93. Things like the doors are 4-wheel drive doors because I wanted the mirror up here in parallel with the window, not down on the door here like the 2-wheel drives are. The bumper on it is a 4-wheel drive bumper. They hang down lower. They have an extra rib in the lower valance, and they're wider. So in my mind, it gives it a bit of a lower look because the front end is closer to the ground because that bumper hangs lower, and it looks cool because it's slightly wider. Kind of matches the tires a bit. So all of the lenses on it all the way around are clear. The rear are actual Clears lenses. I've been very happy with them. The fronts are just eBay's. LEDs all the way around except for the headlights. The headlights are HIDs that have been put in. I did get glass lenses for them. Another thing I was kind of picky about, I did tint it. It's got 20% all the way around. That seems to be my go-to number works out pretty well. I can still see at night. The wheels and tires are nothing really that spectacular. It's just an all-terrain tire with some chromed wagon wheels. I would like to run a roll pan on the rear, but I'm running the bumper right now because I just quite frankly don't trust people's driving, and it would hurt me inside if this truck ever got in an accident. So when I was doing the rebuild on the truck, I did a good bit of body work in the bed, as you can tell. I grafted in flat sheet metal on the bottom there, molded it into the stock bed sides, and I put in diamond plate in the middle. It was riveted in. I bolted it back together because I'm not drilling out all the spot welds if I have to do work on it again. So this is my daily. I daily it every day to work. The only time it does not get driven is in the winter. So it still has a spare. As far as suspension goes, it's all still stock, rear end stock, trans is stock. The engine has like very, very slight work done to it. I can get to that later. The interior, I've spent a good amount of time on. I made door panels for it. The seats are out of an Audi A4. S4. It's been a while since I got them, so I can't quite remember, but they are heated. They are black leather, even under the seat cover. They're in really good shape. I do have them all working. They're all powered off of relays and switches that I have ran off that panel. As far as the interior, it's mostly stock in terms of the dash. I did make a steering wheel adapter out of the stock steering wheel. I cannot stand the stock steering wheel, so I cut off the stock spline piece and just welded it to a piece of 1/4 inch to stick the steering wheel in as close as possible. With this being a base model truck originally, I did make a mount for the tack. So when I'm sitting in it, I can see up to about 70, which is as fast as I usually will ever go. The door panels, I'll get onto like the audio system in them. So I did put 6x9s in the door. Really big speaker to put in one of these doors, but I really like the way they sound. It's just 1/8 inch plywood with carpet. Nothing special there, no fiberglass or anything like that. I just made the standouts out of MDF. I'm still running the stock location, stock size dash speakers. They're still 4-inch speakers. Those are kickers. I don't remember the exact model. These are Scar TX 6x9s. And then up here in the corners, I have some tweeters that I took out of an early 2000s 4Runner. They just happened to kind of bolt on where the mirror bolts on, so that works out pretty well. I'm running a JVC head unit. Wow, this door, because it allows me to play FLAC files off my USB. I think I noticed the sound difference, so to me it's worth it to have a head unit that'll play that. The middle console is quite dirty, but it is it's a center console, but it also doubles as my sub box. So I have a little 8-inch sub back there. That is a VD8, I think, Scar as well. And then the amp that I'm running is hidden behind the seat. I have it mounted off of the seat belt. So my wiring is a bit of a mess and it's dirty, but everything fits, clears, doesn't move around. And I know a lot of people don't like Scar because it's cheap Chinese stuff, but most of the stuff you buy is anyways. So my theory is, as long as you don't let it clip, you give it the power it wants, clean power, There's nothing wrong with it. I've not had an issue with it, so I will move on to the engine bay. So this is what I've ended up with. It is internally a stock 22 RE. It's had the air injection and emissions deleted. I've got block off plates on everything. All the vacuum lines have been deleted except for the fuel pressure regulator. I think that's about it. So it just cleans up the engine bay at some point. Well, I'll get into what I want to do here in a little bit, but I'm getting ready to do an alternator upgrade to it. So I've got terminals set up to accept single gauge wiring. I got some of my bigger grounds ran. Everything else is nicely heat shrunk and loomed. I did make the intake for it. All the ones I found online I thought were quite overpriced, so I made my own. I just made a little adapter bracket. You can see the fuse that I've got ran that's getting ready to be used with the alternator. This is an LCE Street Series header. I'm very happy with it as far as performance and sound and all that. I am a tad bit disappointed that their ceramic coating is rusting as quick as it is. This truck never sees salt, it only sees rain every once in a while, so for it to be rusting is a little disappointing. But regardless, I have that feeding down into an exhaust system that I made. It is 2 1/4. You can't see it. Well, you can kind of see it. So it comes down V-banded into a 8-inch high flowing cat, which then goes into a Flowmaster 50 series, which then goes into my exhaust tip. So everything's V-banded. It was polished, a little nicer at one time, but it does sound pretty decent. I'll grab my key here and start it up for you. So I just started a few minutes ago just to drive it down here in the shade. So it's not warm at all, but this is about as cold start as you'll get. I have some video of me cruising around, doing a little pull, and I think it was 3rd and 4th, so I'll input that in here after this. I'll give you a little bump from the stereo. Hopefully this music isn't copyrighted. She does all right. So I'll put those clips of me driving in here now, and then I'll finish off the video with giving you my future plans for the truck. It's a relatively flat stretch of road, so I'll let you hear it. So like I mentioned earlier, I am going to put a bigger alternator in here. I am currently filming the process of putting a GM CS144 alternator in here with the brackets and all of the work that it takes to do that. Long term, I would like to autocross this truck with the stock suspension, mostly stock power and all that. It's not going to be very enjoyable. This thing, because it has such big tires, handles okay, only because you can brute force it and the tires just stick because the truck's so light. But I would like to lower it. I would like to do coilover conversion in the front, rack and pinion steering. I would like to lower the rear obviously as well, and put bigger sway bars in both the front and just put a sway bar in the rear. I would like to upgrade the brakes at some point, the rears to disc brake, and I would like to make the fronts a little larger. Eventually I would like to switch to standalone ECM and turbocharge this engine. That'll be quite a ways down the road, probably years. Well, I know it'll be years, but that'll take forged internals and all that. I would like to build it so it can take 300 horsepower. I've seen guys doing that. You know, if I can put it on a dyno and make that, cool. I would like to turn it down and make somewhere around 225, and then I would autocross with that, because I believe in overbuilding engines, detuning them, and letting them run. They seem to last a lot longer that way. So I do have some other vehicles. I'm going to be buying another daily for the winter, so I'll probably be doing some work, buying and doing some work to another vehicle here shortly, putting a system in it, a lot bigger system than a single 8. That's referring to audio. I've got a 02 Dodge 3500 with a Cummins. I've got a bunch of parts for that. Eventually I'll start doing videos on that. That should be really cool. I'm hoping to get around 500 horse with the stock VP pump, injection pump, so wish me luck with that. But the next video I'll probably put out after this one will be about the CS144 alternator on this, so look out for that. This was my first video, so any support would be appreciated. Subscribing, liking, all that, like everybody else tells you to do. Or tell me to myself in the comments, that's fine as well. So anyways, hope you enjoy the video. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.